The number one seed starting mistake I see is people starting their seeds at the wrong time. Hi, it's Kayla with 5 Canadian Acres, and today I'm going to share with you a couple of tips to help you have a really successful garden this year. So I see this constantly, people posting about this and asking, is it too late to start my seeds, etc., etc. Now, some seeds can be started really early and they can grow in pots for a long time. Whereas other seeds, if they're grown in a pot for too long, even a week too long, you're not going to get a very good harvest off that plant. And I'm just going to give you a couple of the more common things and when and if you should be starting them early. Now, the things you can start really early are things like perennial herbs, any sort of perennial plant, or your onions. These things grow really slow and they don't mind if they get a little bit root bound, if their roots be disturbed, that's okay. Go ahead, start these things 8, 10, 12 weeks before your last frost. Some other things that are kind of like a medium time, 8 weeks, your tomatoes, your peppers, some of your flowers, those types of things can be started at about 8 weeks. Now, the number one thing I see people starting too early are your cucumbers, your squash, pumpkins, summer squash, and your melons. These things do not like their roots disturbed. If they get any bit of root bound or you disturb their roots, they are going to not produce. Like they might grow 1 or 2 watermelons, but if you planted something at the right time, that plant's going to give you 10 watermelons. So these things, it's kind of hard because you think your plant's alive, but you're not going to know to the end of your harvest season what you're going to get. So for things like melons and squashes and pumpkins, you want to plant these directly in the ground. Now here I'm going to tell you something else. Sometimes we need to break the rules, but if we know the rules before we break them, then we're able to kind of stretch them in a way that we know, okay, we know that pumpkins and squash don't want their roots disturbed. But where I am and I only have 100 and some days to grow, I need to start these early in order to get any sort of harvest. So I'm only going to start them 2 to 4 weeks. I'm going to start them in big pots. And when I plant them, I'm going to be very careful not to disturb their roots. So I might be breaking or stretching the rule a little bit, but by knowing the rule, I'm able to stretch it in the ways that's not going to affect my harvest. And then there's other things you can put directly in the ground. For example, I started some poppies the other day and they grew and they died. Why? Because they just want to be directly sown outside. So if you want to have the most success for your garden, it's best to try to follow the rules, know the rules, and then stretch them just a little bit as you get more experienced. So if you get anything out of this video, I just want you to know, do not start your squash, melons, cucumbers too early, and then you'll have a lot of success this year. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.